I caught my fiancée hooking up with the DJ the day before our wedding, so I left her at the altar and walked out with her hottest bridesmaid. So, me and Val had been together for 3 years. We met at my buddy Mike's house party. You know, one of those dude you got to come, it'll be epic type things where you usually end up standing in the corner, drinking beer and checking your phone. But this time was different. Val was this absolute smoke show, a pharmaceutical rep. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but I'm just being honest here. Solid 9 out of 10. Maybe even a 10, depending on who you ask. Long, dark hair, killer body. Yeah, she did CrossFit, how'd you guess? And this smile that literally made other guys walk into walls. Way out of my league, if I'm being real. I'm like a solid 6 on a good day, maybe 7, if I'm wearing the right clothes and the lighting's good. LMAO. I still remember the first time I saw her. She was arguing with Mike about some TV show. It was Breaking Bad, she was team Walter White till the end, which should have been my first red flag, I guess. I just kind of jumped into the conversation. Next thing I know, we're 3 hours deep into this conversation about everything from drugs and sports to whether pineapple belongs on pizza. It doesn't. Fight me. Got her number at the end of the night, took her out the next weekend, and that was pretty much it. You know how sometimes you just click with someone? Like everything just feels easy and right? Yeah, that was us. Or at least, that's what I thought. Fast forward through 3 years of what I thought was a pretty damn good relationship. We moved in together after a year, got a place downtown that we could barely afford, adopted this love cat named Zeus who hated everyone except her, and started building what I thought was going to be our life together. Before everything went to hell, I was all in. I did the little things, random flowers just because, surprise coffee, deliveries to her work, cute notes left around the apartment. Every special occasion, you bet I went all out. Birthdays, anniversaries, even the dumb little monthly ones in the beginning. I made sure she felt loved. She liked expensive stuff, and yeah, I might have grumbled about it, but I still made it happen because that's what you do when you love someone. I thought I was building something real, making memories, laying down the foundation for the rest of our lives. I proposed last year at this fancy rooftop restaurant, spent like 3 months' salary on the ring. Yeah, I know, but she had expensive taste, and I wanted to make her happy. She cried, said yes, posted like 50 pictures on Instagram, you know, the usual stuff. Her caption was all about how she found her soulmate, and couldn't wait to spend forever together. Well, that aged like milk in a hot car. The wedding planning was intense, not going to lie. Val wanted everything to be perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean perfect. We're talking 200+ guests, a fancy venue at this historic hotel downtown, a 5-course dinner, top-shelf open bar, the works. Her parents helped out a lot with the cost. Thank love for that now. But it was still putting a decent dent in our savings. I didn't care though. I was just happy she was happy. You know, like, I would have been cool getting married at the courthouse and having a barbecue after, but this was her dream wedding, and I wanted to give her that. Plus, seeing her all excited about flower arrangements and cake tastings and whatever the love a charger plate is, it was cute. She'd come home from work and spend hours on Pinterest, showing me all these ideas and getting hyped about every little detail. Everything was going smooth, too smooth, looking back now. Should have known something was going to go wrong. The weird thing is, even now, I can't really pinpoint when things started feeling off. It was like, you ever have that feeling where you know something's wrong but you can't quite put your finger on it? Like when you leave for work and can't remember if you turned off the stove? But multiply that by like 100. I started noticing little things about a month before the wedding. Nothing major at first. She was going out more with her girls, staying out later than usual, being weird. With her phone. Classic love that you see in every Reddit post about cheating. But when you're in it, when you're planning a love wedding and about to start your life with someone, you ignore that stuff. You make excuses. She's just stressed about the wedding, she needs to blow off steam, I'm being paranoid. Man, what a love idiot I was. So, it's like 10 days before the wedding, and Val tells me she's going to this girls' night at Warehouse 13. If you're not from around here, Warehouse 13 is this massive converted industrial space where they hold these huge raves, like the kind of place where you walk in at 11 p.m., and suddenly it's 6 a.m., and you've lost a shoe type thing. I didn't think much of it at first. Val had been stressed about the wedding, or so I thought, and her friends wanted to do this kind of pre-bachelorette party thing since her actual bachelorette was going to be pretty tame, wine tasting with her mom and aunts, you know how it goes. Plus, her best friend Megan was supposedly the one organizing it, and Megan's usually pretty responsible. Usually, Val gets all dressed up for this thing, and when I say dressed up, I mean like festival wear type love. Tiny. Crop top, those sparkly high-waisted shorts that basically show your whole a-hole, glitter everywhere. I remember joking like, damn, trying to find husband number 2 already? And she got kind of weird about it but played it off. Should have been a red flag. But I was still in that trusting fiancé mindset like a dumbass. She heads out around 9 p.m. with Megan and a couple of other girls, texts me at midnight saying everything. It's great. She's having fun, misses me. All that lovey-dovey bees. Then radio silence until like 6:30 a.m. when she comes stumbling in, and I mean stumbling, said they lost track of time, her phone died, the usual excuses. I noticed some of her glitter makeup was smeared, but like, it's a rave, that happens, right? Wrong. So love wrong. Fast forward to a week before the wedding. I'm at work, trying to focus on this project deadline, even though my brain is completely fried from all the wedding stuff. My phone buzzes. It's my boy Chris. Now, Chris isn't the type to call during work hours unless something's up, so I knew this wasn't going to be good. Yo, he starts, and I can already tell by his voice that I'm about to hear some love I really don't want to hear. Listen, man, I didn't know how to tell you this, but my cousin DJ was at Warehouse 13 that night. My stomach love dropped. DJ is this guy who basically lives in the rave scene, knows everybody, sees everything, and apparently, he saw plenty. According to DJ, Val wasn't just dancing with the girls. She was hanging all over this guy, some DJ who goes by Voltage or some stupid love like that. Seriously, who calls themselves Voltage? And not just like normal dancing, we're talking grinding, making out the whole 9 yards. But it gets better, worse. DJ saw them disappear into the DJ booth area around 3 a.m. They came out like 45 minutes later, Val fixing her shorts and this Voltage douchebag looking real pleased with himself. Real subtle, right? I'm sitting there in my office, trying not to throw up or punch a wall or both. Chris is still talking, but all I can hear is this ringing in my ears. You know that feeling when your whole world just shifts? Like everything you thought you knew was love? Yeah, that. But wait. There's more. Because Chris, being the real MVP friend that he is, had already done some digging. Turns out, this wasn't the first time Val had been to one of Voltage's shows. He found pics on Instagram going back a couple of months. Val in the crowd, always right up front. In some of them, she's wearing this glow-in-the-dark necklace that I'd never seen before. Apparently, it's like a very important person thing that lets you into the DJ area. I spent the rest of that day in a fog, just going through Instagram and Facebook like some obsessed detective. Found more from that night. Val in the background of other people's stories, getting real friendly with this guy. He's exactly what you'd expect. Tall, tatted-up man-bun-wearing douche, who probably thinks pressing play on a MacBook makes him a musician. The worst part? In every pic, every video, she's wearing her engagement ring, the one I spent months saving up for, the one she said was perfect and everything she'd ever dreamed of. I didn't confront her right away. Something in me just snapped. Instead of blowing up or calling her out, I started forming a plan. Because if she wanted to play games, we could play games. And I was about to go pro. So, I went into full detective mode, and let me tell you, when you start actually looking for red flags instead of ignoring them, that love hits you like a truck. First thing I did was check our shared credit card statements. Yeah, we had a joint account for wedding expenses. Another fantastic decision. Found multiple charges from clubs and bars on nights she was supposedly wedding planning with her friends. Like, unless David's bridal moved to a nightclub, something wasn't adding up. But here's where Jessica comes in. Quick background, Jessica was one of Val's bridesmaids, but they weren't super close. Val only asked her because they worked together, and it would have been awkward not to. Jessica's this smoke show redhead who, NGL, I'd always found attractive, but I was faithful, unlike some people, so I never did anything about it. I decided to reach out to Jessica because she always seemed IDK, less caught up in Val's BS than the other bridesmaids. Plus, she'd been acting weird at the last few wedding events, like she knew something but couldn't say it. So, I texted her, "Hey, got a minute to talk? It's about Val." She replied, "Finally figured it out, huh?" Turns out, Jessica had known something was up for weeks. Val had been bragging to her about this hot DJ she was talking to, showing her their DMs and love. But the thing is, Val told Jessica that we had an understanding and that I was cool with her having fun before the wedding. Excuse me, what? Yeah, my lovely fiancé had been telling people we had an open relationship, news to me. According to Jessica, Val had been feeding this BS story to a bunch of people to justify her hooking up with Voltage. Even showed Jessica some texts where she was planning to meet up with him after the honeymoon. The love audacity, but Jessica had screenshots. So many screenshots. There were texts between Val and Voltage going back months. Apparently, they met at another rave back in March, when she told me she was at a pharmaceutical conference in Vegas. They'd been hooking up on and off since then, but things got more intense as the wedding got closer. Some highlights from their texts, warning, "This love's going to make you cringe, Val. Can't wait to see you tonight. Save me a spot in the booth. Voltage, got something special for you, baby. Val, better than last time? Voltage, you know it. Bring that sparkly outfit." And my personal favorite, Val, kind of excited to be a bad girl before I have to be a good wife. LOL. I wanted to throw up. 3 years of my life, a $155,000 ring, all the plans we made, and this is what she really thought of our relationship, just some boring obligation she had to fulfill after having her fun. Jessica was furious too. Apparently Val had been making fun of me to her other friends, calling me safe and reliable, like I was a love Honda Civic or something. Said she was settling down with me because I had a good job and would be a good dad. Meanwhile, she's out there living her best festival life with DJ Love. That's when Jessica and I started plotting. She was done with Val's two-faced BS, and I was done being the reliable backup plan. We spent like 3 hours at this coffee shop, going through all the evidence and planning how to handle this. Jessica was actually the one who came up with the idea to wait until the wedding. If she wants an audience for her drama, she said, let's give her one she'll never forget. We decided to get everything ready, screenshots, photos, even some videos people had sent us from the rave. Jessica had this friend who worked AV at the venue, so setting up a nice little slideshow wouldn't be a problem. But the best part of this planning session? Watching Jessica get all fired up about exposing Val. I felt like she'd been waiting for this. There was this moment where she was ranting about what a terrible person Val was. Her face all flushed, eyes sparkling, and something just clicked between us. We both felt it, that tension, that chemistry, but we didn't act on it. The next few days were tough, acting normal around Val while knowing all this love was like being in some twisted play. She's there talking about our future, showing me table arrangements, asking about honeymoon plans. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there thinking about how I'm going to blow her whole world up. The hardest part? She actually seemed excited about the wedding, like genuinely happy. Sometimes I'd catch myself almost feeling bad about what we were planning. Then I'd remember those texts, that sparkly outfit, and DJ Douchebag's smug face, and any guilt would just evaporate. Plus, every time I started wavering, Jessica would send me another screenshot, or tell me about something else Val had said behind my back. Nothing kills sympathy quite like finding out your fiancé called you boring in bed to her work friends. The wedding was in 3 days, and let me tell you, trying to act normal while plotting someone's public humiliation is hard. Val was running around, stressed about last-minute details, calling vendors, having dress fittings, all that stuff. Meanwhile, I'm in secret meetings with Jessica and her AV friend Kyle, putting together what we started calling Operation Festival Fallout. Quick shout out to Kyle, BTW. This dude was an absolute legend. When Jessica told him what was going on, he didn't just agree to help, he went all in. Turns out, he'd gotten cheated on before too, so he was living for this revenge plan. Plus, working at the venue meant he knew exactly how to set everything up without looking suspicious. The plan was pretty simple. During the reception, I'd give a special toast to my new bride. Kyle would have everything queued up on the venue's big screens, screenshots, photos, even some videos people had sent us from the rave. But timing was everything. We needed to wait until all the important photos were done. Didn't want to waste my parents' money on the photographer, and definitely after her dad's speech. That poor guy spent a fortune on this wedding. Now, here's where things got interesting with Jessica. We were spending a lot of time together planning, and not going to lie, the chemistry was getting intense. One night, we were at my place, going through evidence on my laptop, and she was sitting really close. Like, I could smell her perfume close. And let me tell you, it was way better than the cotton candy body spray Val always wore. Jessica looked up at me and said, You know what would really drive her crazy? If you kissed me right after exposing her, like right there in front of everyone. I laughed at how bold she is, but not going to lie. My brain short-circuited for a second. I mean, Jessica was hot AF. Tall, red hair, green eyes, the kind of girl who looks good without trying, unlike Val, who spent 2 hours getting ready to go to the grocery store, and the way she was looking at me. But I played it cool. You sure you want to get involved like that? People might judge you too. She just smirked and said, trust me, I've been wanting to do this for months. The way she talks about you to everyone, treats you like some backup plan? You deserve better. Then she put her hand on my leg, and holy love, the tension was unreal. But we didn't do anything, not yet. We both knew we needed to wait, make the revenge that much sweeter. The next couple of days were a blur of wedding prep and secret planning. Val was getting more annoying by the minute, constantly talking about how perfect everything was going to be, how we were going to be the best couple ever, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, she's still texting DJ douchebag. Jessica showed me screenshots from their group chat where Val was bragging about how she was going to try to meet up with him after the honeymoon. The night before the wedding, we had the rehearsal dinner. Val's dad gave this heartfelt speech about welcoming me to the family, and I almost felt bad. Then I saw Val sneaking off to the bathroom with her phone for the 10th time that night, and remembered all the screenshots of her calling me boring and safe. After the dinner, Jessica and I had one final meeting with Kyle to make sure everything was set up. The slideshow was ready, the audio was perfect. Yeah, we had audio. Val had left some pretty incriminating voicemails for Voltage, and the timing was planned down to the minute. That's when Jessica dropped another bomb. I got a room at the hotel for tomorrow night, she said casually. You know, in case you need somewhere to go after everything. The way she said it, looking up at me through her lashes. Yeah, she wasn't just offering a place to crash. And you know what? After everything Val had done, I didn't even feel guilty about the thoughts going through my head. I went home that night to find Val passed out in our bed, probably drunk from the rehearsal dinner. Her phone was right there on the nightstand, still getting notifications. I saw Voltage's name pop up. Can't wait to see you after the honeymoon, baby. That was the moment any last doubts I had just vanished. Tomorrow wasn't just going to be the end of my relationship with Val. It was going to be the beginning of something new, something better. I slept on the couch that night, partly because I couldn't stand to be next to her, but mostly because I was too amped up thinking about what was about to go down. Jessica kept texting me memes about revenge and karma, and we stayed up late planning the final details. The last text I got from her that night was, "Tomorrow's going to be epic. Hope you're ready for your starring role in the best wedding drama ever." Man, she had no idea how right she was. The morning of the wedding was surreal. I woke up on my couch, couldn't sleep next to Val after everything, and for a split second, I forgot what day it was. Then my phone started blowing up with messages. Val sending me cute "can't wait to be your wife" texts. My groomsmen checking in, and of course Jessica with updates on Operation Festival Fallout. Got to the venue early to check on everything with Kyle. Dude had outdone himself. 3 massive screens set up for the wedding slideshow, perfect audio setup, everything ready to go. While we were doing the final tech check, Jessica snuck in, looking fine as hell in her bridesmaid dress. And let me tell you, Val might have been the bride, but Jessica was stealing the show in that dress. "You ready for this?" she asked, giving me this look that made my heart skip. She'd brought more screenshots from that morning. Val was still texting Voltage, talking about meeting up after the honeymoon. The love audacity of this girl. The ceremony was weird, standing there in my tux, watching Val walk down the aisle with this fake innocent look on her face. She was crying, her dad looking proud. Poor guy spent $50,000 on this love show, and all our friends and family watching like it was some beautiful moment. Val's vows were a whole new level of love, all this crap about loyalty and forever love, and how she never truly knew what love was until she met me. Meanwhile, I'm standing there thinking about the screenshots of her calling me boring and safe. Jessica was sitting in the front row, trying not to laugh. We got through the ceremony. Yes, I said I do. Needed to make it legal for what was about to happen next. Took all the photos, wanted to give my parents their money's worth from the photographer, and headed to the reception. This is where love gets good. Everything was perfect. Val was in full bride mode, showing off her ring, dancing with her dad, playing the perfect wife. Then it was time for speeches. Her dad went first, talking about what a great couple we were, how happy he was to welcome me to the family. Val's sister gave some emotional speech about true love. Then it was my turn. I got up, grabbed the mic and caught Jessica's eye. She gave me a slight nod. "I'd like to make a toast," I said, watching Val beam at me from our sweetheart table. "You know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so instead of a long speech, I thought I'd share some pictures that really capture who Val is." Kyle hit the lights. The screens came to life. First picture, Val, barely wearing clothes, grinding on voltage in the DJ booth. Second picture, their text conversations about meeting up. Third picture, a video clip from the rave showing them disappearing into the back room. The room went dead silent. Val's face went from confusion to horror in about 2 seconds flat. Her mom gasped so loud I thought she was going to pass out. "There's more," I continued, really getting into it now. "Let's hear what the bride really thinks about her new husband." Kyle played the audio. Val's drunk voicemail to Voltage about how she was just settling. For me, because I was humble and boring, but he was her real excitement. Val jumped up, screaming, "Turn it off!" But Kyle, absolute legend that he was, just turned it up louder. "What's wrong, babe?" I asked into the mic. "I thought you wanted an audience for your festival life. Isn't that what you told Voltage?" Her dad was standing now, face red as hell. Her mom was crying. Most of the guests were either filming with their phones or covering their mouths in shock. Val tried to play it off, running up to me, crying about how it's not what it looks like and we can talk about this. That's when I dropped the final bomb. "Oh, and that stuff about meeting up after the honeymoon? Yeah, I saw those texts too. But don't worry. I won't be around to bore you anymore." I handed the mic to the DJ, our DJ, not Voltage, LMAO, loosened my tie, and walked straight over to Jessica. She stood up, this sexy little smirk on her face, and I did what I'd been wanting to do for weeks, grabbed her and kissed her right there in front of everyone. And let me tell you, that kiss was electric, way better than any kiss I'd ever had with Val. The whole room erupted, half gasping, half cheering. Val was screaming something, but honestly, with Jessica in my arms, I couldn't hear anything else. We walked out together, hand in hand, leaving Val standing there in her $7,000 dress with her ruined makeup and her ruined reputation. Heard later that she tried to claim I was lying, but Kyle had hooked up the screens to the venue's video system. Everything was recorded, including her meltdown. So there we were, walking out of the reception hall, the sounds of chaos behind us, and Jessica looks at me. "Want to really give them something to talk about? Remember that hotel room she'd booked? Yeah, we made good use of it. But first, we had to get through the lobby, which was interesting. Picture this, me in my tux, bow tie undone, Jessica in her bridesmaid dress, both of us practically, running to the elevator while wedding guests were still arriving for the reception. The looks we got were priceless. The best part? We ran into Voltage in the lobby. No joke. This clown actually showed up at the hotel, probably thinking he was going to be Val's little side piece after the reception. He took one look at us, recognized me from the photos, and turned white as a sheet. Jessica, absolute queen that she is, just winked at him and said, "Sorry, she's a little busy having her wedding ruined right now." Got to the room, and my phone was blowing up like hundreds of notifications. Val calling and texting non-stop, her friends sending angry messages, my friends sending congratulations, random wedding guests who'd filmed everything already posting it on social media. But honestly, I couldn't care less. Not going to go into too much detail, trying to keep this somewhat PG-13. But, let's just say Jessica had been holding back some feelings for a long time. Around 4 a.m., we finally checked our phones. Holy love, Val had gone full psycho at the reception after we left. She tried to convince everyone that I was lying, that the photos were fake, all that BS. But then some genius, probably Kyle, started playing the audio of her voicemails through the venue speaker system. She actually tried to climb up on a table to unplug the speakers in her wedding dress, which ripped. Her mom was having a full meltdown. Her dad was at the bar doing shots, honestly, mood, and apparently, half the guests were either filming everything or posting live updates in the family group chat. The memes were already starting. But the best part? The twins showed up. See, what Val didn't know was that Jessica had invited these two smoking hot twins we knew from the gym. They were yoga instructors, to come to the hotel bar after the reception, part of the plan we hadn't even gotten to yet. So while Val's having her bridezilla moment at the reception, these twins are posting stories from the hotel bar, tagging me, clearly waiting for someone. Jessica sees this and gets this evil genius idea. She takes a pic of us in the hotel room. Nothing explicit, just like, clearly together if you know what I mean, and posts it with the caption, "Sorry girls, might be a little late to the afterparty." Val lost her love, started texting Jessica, calling her every name in the book. Jessica just screenshot everything and kept posting it. The twins start posting thirst trap stories like, waiting for the real party to start. The internet is eating this stuff up. By morning, the story had gone viral in our city's social circle. Val's reputation in shambles, Voltage's DJ career probably not helped by the fact that someone, definitely Kyle, had leaked screenshots of him knowingly hooking up with an engaged woman. We finally emerged from the room around noon the next day, and guess who's sitting in the hotel lobby? The twins, in their yoga gear, looking fresh as hell, while Val's friends were walking, shaming it through the lobby, looking like raccoons with their smeared makeup. Jessica, being the absolute chaos queen she is, suggests brunch. So picture this, me, still in my tux pants minus the jacket, Jessica in her bridesmaid dress, and two hot yoga twins, having mimosas on the hotel patio while wedding guests are checking out. The looks we got? Priceless. Val tried to show up at the hotel, but security had already been warned. Kyle coming in clutch again. They stopped her in the lobby, still in her torn wedding dress, mascara everywhere, screaming about how she was the bride and needed to talk to me. They escorted her out while we watched from the patio. I was the one who said we should all head back to my place because love it, who needs to be sensible after getting cheated on? The place was still technically half Val's, but whatever. The second I said it, Jessica got this look in her eye that told me the revenge tour was just getting started. So, after our brunch at the hotel, we all headed back to my apartment, me, Jessica, and the twins, Amy and Ashley. I was still in my tux pants and shirt, Jessica in her bridesmaid dress, looking like we'd been through a war, which, honestly, we kind of had. The whole ride back, my phone kept blowing up with updates from the wedding aftermath. Apparently, Val had gone back to her parents' place and was having a full meltdown on social media, posting these long-ass rants about how I'd ruined her special day and how Jessica was a backstabbing snake. The irony of her complaining about backstabbing while she'd been sneaking off with DJ douchebag was just perfect. We get to my place. Well, technically still mine and Val's place since we'd been living together, and Jessica immediately starts making herself at home. The twins are exploring the apartment, being nosy in that cute way hot girls can get away with, and I'm just sitting there thinking about how surreal this whole situation is. That's when Jessica finds Val's secret drawer in the bedroom. Holy love, you guys. Remember all that festival gear she'd been wearing to meet up with Voltage? Yeah, it wasn't just for raves, there were like multiple sparkly outfits, these platform boots that definitely weren't for work, and a whole bunch of other stuff I won't mention because I don't want this post getting flagged. The twins thought this was hilarious and decided to play dress up. Next thing I know, they're all trying on Val's festival outfits, taking selfies, having the time of their lives. Jessica found this super expensive bodysuit that Val had bought for the honeymoon and decided it looked better on her anyway. That's when we hear keys in the door. Val bursts in like she owns the place. I mean, technically her name was still on the lease, but come on, probably expecting to find me alone and miserable. Instead, she walks in to find Jessica wearing her honeymoon lingerie, the twins in her festival gear, and me on the couch just living my best life. The noise she made, I didn't know humans could hit that pitch. What the love is this? She screams, mascara still smeared from crying all day. She's still in yesterday's clothes, hair a mess, looking like she'd been up all night, which she probably had. Jessica just looks her dead in the eye and goes, "Oh, we're just having a little fashion show. Your stuff is super cute. Not very bride-like though, is it?" Val lunges for Jessica, but Ashley, or maybe it was Amy, steps between them. "Honey," she says in this super sweet voice, "you might want to fix your makeup before starting any more drama. There are already enough videos of you losing it on the internet." Y'all, the scream that came out of Val, she starts grabbing her stuff, throwing it in bags, crying about how she never thought I'd do this to her. The irony, I swear. Then she sees the twins wearing her rave outfits and completely loses it. "Those are mine," she shrieks, trying to grab at them. Amy or Ashley just spins away and says, "Are they though? Because they look like club gear to us. Isn't that what you wore to hook up with that DJ?" Val turns to me, switching to victim mode instantly. Baby, please, she starts, crying. It was one mistake. We can work through this. I love you. That's when Jessica drops the bomb. One mistake? Should we show him the other videos from the club last month? Or maybe the ones from Vegas? Turns out, Jessica had way more dirt than she'd originally let on. Val's face went from fake crying to terror real quick. You wouldn't, she whispers. Try me, Jessica says, pulling out her phone. I kept everything. Every screenshot, every video, every drunk confession about all your little adventures. Wanna see them, babe? Val literally runs out of the apartment, leaving half her stuff behind. The door slams so hard, we spent the rest of the day going through Val's stuff. Yeah, probably not legal, but after what she did, whatever. Found receipts for hotel rooms, more club outfits, and, get this, a diary. Let's just say Voltage wasn't the only side piece. Jessica officially moved in a week later. The twins became regular visitors, and Val? Last I heard, she tried to hook up with Voltage again, but he'd already moved on to some other girl. Karma's a witch, isn't it? It's been about 6 months since the wedding that wasn't, and honestly, best non-marriage decision ever. Life's been love amazing. The apartment got a complete makeover, threw out all of Val's basic, live, laugh, love decor, and actually made the place look decent. Val? Oh man, she's been on a whole spiral. After the wedding disaster, she tried to save face by posting this long Instagram rant about how I was controlling and she was breaking free from toxicity or whatever. Nobody bought it, especially after Kyle, absolute legend, leaked more videos from the rave. She ended up having to turn off her comments because people kept posting DJ jokes. She tried getting back with Voltage, but apparently, he'd moved on to some TikTok influencer. Last I heard, she moved to Miami to find herself. AKA, probably find more DJs. Her dad still sends me Christmas cards though, which is hilarious. The twins are still in our lives. They come over for what we call Chaos Sundays. Basically brunch that turns into all-day pool parties at their place. Val stalks all our social media from fake accounts, and absolutely loses it every time we post pictures. Sometimes we pose in ways that match her old thirst trap posts just to mess with her. Work's been interesting, had to deal with some awkward conversations since Val and I were both kind of known in our industry. Jessica? She's thriving. Got a new job at a competing pharmaceutical company. Couldn't keep working with Val, obviously, and actually makes more money now. Plus, she doesn't have to pretend to like Val's basic-ass Starbucks posts anymore. Speaking of Val's old life, remember all those wedding gifts we got? Yeah, we kept them. Val's mom tried demanding them back, but they were addressed to both of us, so technically half of them were mine. Gave most of the fancy china to Jessica's mom, who absolutely hated Val BTW and used the rest of the gift cards to furnish our place. The cat, Zeus, finally stopped being an a-hole once Val left. Turns out, he just hated her energy or something. Now he's the most chill pet ever, even lets the twins pet him when they come over. Animals know, man. And remember that honeymoon we had planned? All-inclusive resort in Bali, all paid for by her parents? Yeah, Jessica and I went. Val's dad actually insisted. Said someone should enjoy it since he couldn't get a refund. The look on the hotel staff's faces when we explained why I was there with a different woman than the one on the reservation. The best part of all this? I'm actually happy. Genuinely happy. Val used to always say I was boring and predictable, but turns out, I just needed someone who appreciated me. Jessica and I go to raves sometimes, ironically, but we also stay in and play video games. We can do fancy date nights or just crush a pizza and watch movies. It's just easy. Got a text from Val last week actually. She was drunk, obviously, and going off about how she made a mistake and misses what we had. I just sent back a pic of me, Jessica, and the twins at a pool party with the caption, "New phone, who dis?" Maybe that was petty, but after everything she put me through, worth it. So, yeah, that's the end of this crazy story. Val's alone in Miami, probably still trying to slide into DJ's DMs. Voltage is doing whatever wannabe DJs do, and me, living my best life with a woman who actually appreciates me, surrounded by amazing friends, and finally free of all that basic love energy. Val's cousin messaged me last week, trying to guilt-trip me about how I've changed and how I'm not the sweet guy she used to know. Sent her back a picture of me with 5 girls in a pool. Told her she's right, that guy died at the altar, and honestly, good riddance. The new me is having way more fun. If Val hadn't cheated, I'd still be stuck in a marriage with someone who didn't put me first. But hey, Her loss. I'm just enjoying life like a damn rock star now. No strings, no drama, no worries. Life's good, Reddit. Real good.